Hello and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Now this video is going to be covering the most expensive keys from the last video. Now this was suggested by a commenter on the last video, and that guy's name was JC, so shout out to him. Thank you very much for giving me the idea. Now, video ideas, it sounds like they'd be easy to come by, but most of the ones I think they just don't pan out very well. I thought I'd have a lot of videos to do because, quest guides are really easy to make, and I thought they'd be sought after, but every quest guide I've done has been pretty naff. And I think that's because everyone's already, got good quest guides from people like Pestily and Deadly Slobs, so no one's really looking for, no-name quest guides. So thank you for giving me the idea for the video, and thank you for taking part in this community. So today we're going to be looking at every key in the last guide that was retailing for over 1 million rubles, and we're going to look at where those doors are and what is behind those doors that is worth so much money. Now it turns out the keys are spread out over Labs, Reserve and Interchange, so those are the 3 maps we're going to be on today. Unfortunately, I am not rich enough to buy a copy of each of these keys, and I don't own a single copy of either of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to the door, then freeze frame, and I will list everything you can find on the other side of that door. Bit of a tease, I know, but to buy all of these keys would have set me back 20 million rubles, and I'm about 10 million rubles short of that. And with the newfound raid mechanic, you can't just buy them and sell them back. Actually, scratch that, it would have cost me around 60 million rubles because the red key card's on this list, so yeah, definitely don't have the money for that. I do apologise in advance for that, but I'm going to try and make it as entertaining as possible. Now, the first room I struggled to find, and that was the Labs Violet room. That's actually quite easy to find. If you know where the red key card door is, the Labs Violet room is just over it. It's probably why it's so expensive, is because you can hit these rooms in tandem, and you could easily make, 2-3 million rubles in an hour, easy. So it's just to the right of the main entranceway over from the cafeteria area, and it's just right here. Now, this key is worth around about 4.6 million rubles, and in there spawns a military transmitter, VPX, there's weapon mods on the shelves in the corners, there's 2 weapon boxes, loose money, you can get a silenced MP5 in the racks along with an M4, and there is multiple rare item spawns on the shelf next to the door. All in all, a really good key. After that we have the green Labs keycard. Now this was a strange one to find, but it's these double doors here that's just off the main way of the Labs. I find Labs a confusing place, so it's not the best for me. Keys worth around 7.7 million rubles, and inside there spawns 1 med case, loose medical loot, a black keycard spawn which is fantastic, lead X, which makes, it's possibly one of the best items to find in the game. Then you've got folder with intelligence, twice, 1 weapon box, loose weapon mods and ammo on the shelf, and a possible MP5 spawn on the front desk. All in all, a good room. Now we're on to the blue keycard. Now, this was a weird one to find because it doesn't really look like a proper door, but it's 8.4 million rubles, and in there can spawn loose medical loot, 2 med cases, and possible LEDX skin transluminator spawn on ship. Yeah, one of those things. Just a LEDX. And again, really good key to have. I mean, Shoreline must be an absolute hellhole for hackers and cheaters with all the red key card spawns, the blue ones, and some of the other ones. It's just ridiculous. But I think this is a good room. I think it's probably a better room than most because it's far out of the way from every other loot spot on Labs. So next we have something that's a little bit cheaper and a little bit more affordable, and that's the black key card. Now this one did spawn in one of the previous rooms, so it's always worth keeping an eye out. Now I can't see why this room is a lot less money. Just sheerly looking at what behind the lock on this room, it's just not the same loot pinata the other 4 are. So yeah, I can understand why this isn't that much money, but again, if you're hitting everything on Labs, it's more money. You get 10 stimulators, that's 100,000 rubles, maybe it's 200,000 rubles if you get the right one. So it's all about perspective really. This less looted room might be better for the sheer lack of traffic. You know, labs is supposed to be a cheater hotspot. I don't know, I don't play labs that much. But if it is, then looting these rooms might prove more beneficial than trying to hit the big ticket rooms. And now we have the most expensive room and the most expensive key in the entire game, the red key card. Now this room's just fantastic. It's a ridiculously expensive card of over 40 million rubles. It spawns ammunition, weapon mods, MP5s, M4s, M4 SOP mods. You can get antique teapots, antique vases, you can get a folder with intelligence, and inside there, the reason it's expensive is because you've got the arsenal storage key in there as well. It's not the key, but it's the room that the key opens, and that can spawn all manner of rare spawns. And now we're moving on to Interchange, and the first one in Interchange is KIBA Store, probably the most famous thing on Interchange really. KIBA Store is fantastic money. It used to be better, in fact it got nerfed, it was that good. Now it's only worth 1 million for a key, and in there spawns multiple weapon boxes, 2 cash registers, loads of weapon spawns like RSASs, AKs, M4s on the walls, tons of weapon attachments inside the glass cases and all on the back counter. And then the mannequin as you go in on your left can spawn a variety of armors, the best being Gen 4. And you can get a bunch of grenades in and around the shop as well, so it's worth looking at those. And again, there's some currency spawns, just standard stuff really, but the main point is the armor and the weapons and the weapon mods. I also forgot to mention on that previous one and on this key, you do need to put on the power station in Interchange if you're wanting to enter those rooms. And the power station's situated like, if you look at the map as a square and both extracts are on either end, opposite corners, the power station is in the top left corner. That would be my way of looking at it. It's just, you know, the only way I can explain it. But this key is probably one of the most heavily contested places on Interchange, simply because of how close it is to Techlight and how much actual stuff spawns in here. You've got loose medical loot, you've got defibrillators, you've got LEDXs, ophthalmoscopes and stimulators. All of those things are sought after, but especially the LEDXs. Reason being is the LEDXs are used for quests, they're used for trades, and they have a massively high base loot value. So even if the market tanks on a LEDX, you're still going to get a massive amount towards Therapist. Right, this next one's a bit interesting now. I also kind of messed up here. So on the where I'm heading to now is actually the extract that this key unlocks. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. It's not really clear on, you know, the information I'm looking at, so I think that's the extract. However, I have found a picture of where the, you know, actual room's located down on the right hand side, courtesy of the Tarkov Wikipedia. Brilliant resource, always use that. And in there you can find multiple weapon spawns and weapon boxes. It's a fantastic place, and then you can just, you know, extract as well, so it's a good key. Now we're switching over to Reserve, and the first key is it unlocks one of the cages down below where all the radar spawns sometimes. And I think these keys are only really expensive because the other 2 keys are good and cheap, so you really want the set. But I think what's fantastic about these keys is it's a different kind of loot. It's not massive rare loot spawns, it's medical supplies, ration crates and technical supplies. And the technical supply crates are fantastic sources of fuel conditioners, so if you're struggling to find them, or tank batteries or normal batteries, try these locations. Now the other thing to worry about is there are raiders down here, so take care of that. And the room after that is just on the other side. It's literally just like opposite on the other side of the room, and it's pretty much the same sort of loot, you know, technical supply crates, foodstuffs and medical crates. Really good early game when you're building your hideout or you need medical items for quests. And the food storage is decent if you're looking for Devil Dog's meal, Dr. Lupo's beans, any sort of food based kappa requirement item. So if you're stuck on any of those, buy these keys and do a couple of runs, see how you come out. And now we have the last key of the big spenders, and that is the RBGN key. Now, it took me a while to find this one, and I actually had never been to the place where it is on the map ever. So it's on Reserve in the big technical building, you know, where all the loose tech spawns are. That's really good money. And you go all the way down the staircase, and there is a room on the right hand side. We'll get to there in a minute. I'm just having a brain fart on where it is in the footage. And that room is going to be fantastic for the beginning of wipes, when you need the military battery for found in raid quests, the filters for increasing your ability to earn soft skill points, and the old fire steel, which I think I haven't found an old fire steel yet, so that might be a good place to get that fire steel if you're struggling for KIBA. So it might be worth having a look there. And that pretty much concludes this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and again, thank you to JC who suggested this as a topic. If you're watching this and you have any video ideas or things you need help with in Tarkov, things you'd like to know more about, maybe it's how to level up or how to kill scav bosses efficiently, any idea and you want to see it made, just drop it down below in the comments and I'll do my best to try and provide a video that helps discuss that problem. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.